And the Sioux Falls community first. Today, Vern's dream lives on with growing dealerships, the first generation of employee owners, and more amazing customers whose loyalty allows us to keep giving back here in the place we call home. Vern Ivy, thank you for being part of our story since 1965.
Are you ready for some trash talk? We're talking about RBS Sanitation, a local family-owned and operated company that takes pride in keeping our communities clean. Our trucks collect trash efficiently, while our friendly staff ensures satisfaction. We make residential and commercial trash removal easy and painless. Make the switch to RBS Sanitation, the company your neighbors trust. When life gets messy, trust us to help you clean it up. Call us today at 605-213-0138.
That's better than nothing, right?
Like a second You came from an itty bitty minuscule school, not a 3 or 4 year school.
She's at Fair's main campus.
Football fans, you are looking live at Lightning Valley on the campus of T Area High School on the very western end of T, South Dakota. Tonight, alongside producer Andrew Griffin and my partner, the ex-coach John Neeson, I'm Shad Hockey. We welcome you to Week 6 of the South Dakota High School football season. Tonight, the 4th-ranked T Area Titans host the Brookings Bobcats. The Bobcats, we'll say at least unofficially, are the number 6 in the most recent polls. They're receiving votes. They received the second amount of votes, so I'm calling them number 6. And this will be the 4th all-time meeting between these two. And let's recap that. The Titans, they entered the 11AA class back in 2021, and the first team they would face ever was on the road at South Dakota State campus. These Brookings Bobcats in that game. The Bobcats marched right down the field, scored an easy and early touchdown, leaving the Bobcats announcer to a saying that found its way to T-shirts later that year. He said, "Welcome to 11AA, T." Well, what did the Titans do after that? They stormed back, outscored the Bobcats 47-14. They won that game 47-21. The Titans, at that time, led by Cale Lundeen. They had Clayton Sattler, Augustana College, Chase Van Tall, and Reese Kirschman, South Dakota State. Nate Ellingson, Ethan Viss played at Northern State or play at Northern State. Jacob Youngye commits to USF. Keegan DeYoung, Moorhead, Riley Svanda, Jamestown, Griffin Schneider, Jackson Smythe both go to Northwestern. So the Titans after that would go on to win every game en route to the Dome, where they would lose on a last-second 50-yard field goal to the Pierre Governors. And that would be the last game Craig Clayberg would coach as he stepped down to become the T-Area Athletic Director. Scott Fry would take over. The next year, the Titans and Bobcats didn't play a game, but last year, Brookings won by a touchdown, 29-22. They would meet again in the playoffs. Brookings would end the Titans season 23-13 before the Bobcats would be knocked out in the semis, 23-13 to the eventual state champs, the Watertown Arrows. Yeah. So I'm thrilled here, first time we're doing this, to have ex-longtime coach John Neeson with me this year. He's going to provide some color and insight from a coach's perspective. John, I want to ask you, welcome, by the way. You were there for the season I just talked about, the inaugural season. You were also there for that game in the Dome, very memorable. What memories do you have from that season and from the game in the Dome?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Shad. That season was kind of uncharted waters for all of us. We weren't sure what to expect going on to AA, and I thought the kids and everybody handled it really well. I mean, just played our brand of football, competitive, physical, and, you know, from a truly objective standpoint, that game in the Dome was probably one of the best spectacles there was. You know, we just happened to be on the losing side of it at the end, but coming out 20-0 at the half, and to credit Pierre, they made a lot of great adjustments and clawed their way back to win it in style, I guess. So it was, kind of a whole season and a game that's going to live in infamy for us.
Maybe the best T-Area Titans team, despite losing, we've ever seen. That team was so talented. And as we drove down, Lundeen driving the Titans, I thought it would be Chase Van Tull. He had a leg on him, would kick the long field goal. Lundeen threw an interception on the sidelines that was reviewed and held up, and Pierre ended up, I believe his time expired, kicked the 50-yarder and broke the hearts of me and you and all kinds of Titans fans. So, but the Bobcats, they enter this one at 3-2 on the season. They're receiving votes in the latest poll. They are led by first-year head coach Carter Gordon, by the way of Dual High School in Dual, South Dakota. They opened their season on the road at Sturgis. They fell by 5. It was back on the road again a week later in Mitchell, South Dakota, where they, I like to say, popped the Colonels 40-0 in week 3. They have their season opener. They hold off and beat a 1-4 Aberdeen Central team 14-10. Back to the road for week 4 as the Bobcats would be in another one-score game, falling to the Pierre Governors by 3, 2017. Brings us to last week. They hosted their first and only 11 AAA team, Sioux Falls Roosevelt. They won by 14 over Roosevelt, 21-7. Roosevelt is an 0-5 team. It's been a long year for Roosevelt this year. 3-2. They're anxious to get the win tonight because next week they travel to Yankton, the number 1 team in my book, and then they host Douglas and Huron, the number 1 ranked team, to finish out the regular season. As we are just minutes away, and we'll turn it over to public address announcer Rick Williamson at that time. Let's talk about T-Area real quick. Scott Fry. This is his 4th year at T-Area High School. He's 23-12 in that time, and he looks to get his team back to the state championship, where the Titans have 2 A titles and a AA runner-up. The number 4 TAHS Titans, 4-1, coming into this game. And this is public address announcer Rick Williamson. We'll cover the rest when we come back.
Active duty personnel and veterans may salute the flag. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem. Schools participating in this event are members of the South Dakota High School Activities Association. They have adopted the rules under which this game is conducted. A strong commitment to excellence, fair play, and sportsmanship are all vital to this event's success. Remember to cheer in a positive manner and to be respectful of the officials' decisions. TAHS High School wants all fans to watch the game in the stands. According to conference rules, impromptu youth football games will not be allowed. They have resulted in serious injuries at other schools. Any and all youth footballs, nerf balls, etc. will be confiscated. Please come to watch the game. Parents, please supervise your children. The officials for tonight's game are Josh Benz, Tom Eggers, Darren Martina, CJ Prickett, and Jason Reisdorfer. These officials are registered by the state of South Dakota High School Activities Association. These individuals have worked hard to learn the rules and administer them at this event. We request that you respect their honest efforts to officiate this contest. The Brookings cheerleaders are Hannah Simmonsma, Logan Griegel, Nisha Kumo, Harry Kuchenmeister, Katie Marshall, Lucy Simmonsma, Kate Struck, and Bailey Tacroni. The Titan cheerleaders are Leah Ackman, Tessa Breck, Emerson Cowles, Kinsler Derry, Aubrey Mobrak, Reese Moe, Elena Norris, Olivia Orlowski, and our birthday girl, Haley Flattery. Now, let's meet the defensive starters for head coach Carter Gordon and the Brookings Bobcats. Starting at defensive end, number 7, senior Blake Cannigator. At nose guard, number 52, senior Zach Hegeman. At defensive tackle, number 55, senior Bryce Redlinger. At defensive end, number 36, senior Stephen Anoski. At linebacker, number 1, senior Phoenix Sather. At linebacker, number 10, senior Bergen Tetzloff. At linebacker, number 22, senior Jay Harris. At linebacker, number 3, senior Cash Sather. At one corner, number 15, senior Jones Hunnemer. At cornerback, number 26, senior Mason Mathis. And at free safety, number 19, junior Kingston Schneider. Assistant coaches for the Bobcats are Cole Raderman, Tyler Schneider, Connor Landberg, Darren Moore, Brandon Lampy, Austin Koenig, Cole McEwen, Jim Van Blyman, Gus Miller, and Carson Dugan. And now, here are your offensive starters for head coach Scott Fry and the Titans of Tea Area. At left tackle, number 53, senior Kingston Nyberg. At left guard, number 61, sophomore Vic Luau. At center, number 78, junior Trey Krell. At right guard, number 58, sophomore Gavin Stockey. At right tackle, number 76, senior Cody Peterson. At one wide receiver, number 1, senior Dashiell Rowley. And another wide receiver, number 10, junior Griffin Weavinga. Running back, number 25, senior Carter Brown. At the other running back, number 23, junior Cade Korleski. A sophomore, number 8, Mitch Grant. And welcome back to the field, fullback, senior number 15, Leonard Conrad. Coaches for the Titans are Greg Johnson, Sean Kennedy, Logan Shotman, Mason Scheidegger, Matt Brew.
There are your starters from the one and only Rick Williamson, bringing the energy tonight. As you heard, game notes, Brenner Conrad back in the fold. He played the first game of the season, had a good game, and then he has been injured since. He is the 6'4", 234-pound fullback for the Titans, averaged 100 yards a game from scrimmage last year in just his 3 wins. He is, no doubt, John, a difference maker. What do you know about Brenner Conrad?
Yeah, Brenner's just an ultimate competitor as well as a phenomenal athlete. I mean, he's a guy that's gonna bring the energy and the leadership for the team as well as impact it on the field. So it'll be kind of fun to see how the other guys respond to him back in the lineup tonight too. Yeah,
Carter Christensen out. Devin and Darren Rhodes, the twins, the nice-looking twins, played special teams for the Titans as freshmen. They are both out. Starting wide receiver Kaden Bonenberger is out. I asked him pregame how long he's going to be out. He said, "Here, you can feel my shoulder. I wish I wouldn't have done that. It was a little kind of grossed me out." Why did I do that? And the other note, I texted Chase Van Tull's dad this just a little bit ago. I told him we have another number 28 in the backfield. That's because Hayden Belas is switching from his 56 to 28. Some might see that it's half of his number, so he's a half a man. He's going to carry the ball in the backfield out of the fullback position, the 6'3", 220-pound. It's listed as offensive and defensive line. We've seen him on defensive line with great speed out there for a big man. But I asked Coach Fry, how often is he going to get the ball? And he simply said, "I don't know. I just have no idea." I talked to Coach Brent Johnson. I said, "I really like this Belas idea," as you see him walking out there on special teams. And he said he's a maniac on defense. I just hope he doesn't tire him out. So they're probably worried a little bit about that. And Coach Neeson, I remember when you used to be down on that field, this is the time you'd be rallying the special teams players and jumping around like a maniac.
Yeah, you got to get the guys fired up and ready to go because they're a little bit angsty and a little bit nervous. And once you get that first contact, that's when you kind of settle in and get ready to play.
That's right. Titans led by first-year quarterback, number 8, Mitch Grant. Now Brookings is going to be led by, he's played there before, Jones Hunnemer, 6'2", senior cornerback. He hasn't played there all year, but their starting quarterback, I hear 9 turnovers in the last 2 games, so they have made the switch to Jones Hunnemer here. As kicking off for the Titans, we see number 21, Leighton Moran, senior for the Titans. Kicks it nice, deep kick back to about the 2-yard line. That is the return by number 80, Jude Meandering. And he gets it to the 25-yard line, about 23-yard return for Meandering. Did the Titans win the coin toss? I didn't see it. Did you guys see that at all? I didn't see it. I heard Coach Fry pregame, as he normally does, was telling Coach Brew that he's going to defer. Pretty typical. So what we have going on here, Brookings 1st and 10, 25-yard line. They're moving north to south. They're moving into that wind. It's a fairly strong wind that's going to die down, I think, for the second half. So here is Huntimer, handoff on the inside. That is probably, I haven't seen the number, I'm guessing number 4, Gus Armenta. Armenta on the carry. I asked the coach, Brookings coach, for their difference makers. Who is it going to be? I asked Coach Gordon. He told me it's going to be Armenta, it's going to be Blake Kennegeiter, it's going to be Bergen Tetzloff, and it's going to be Jones Huntimer. He actually told me Bergen Tetzloff first. You see him out there, number 10, 6'5", 235. So inside handoff again. Stuffed for the Titans. Schulte on the carry. Thiek Lual on the stop. Coach Thiek, a young player. Have you seen him play much this season?
Yeah, I kind of like what Coach Johnson's done with the whole D-line. You know, we were pretty fast and athletic across the board. We got some physical guys in the middle, too, and a pair of bookends like DeBoer and Vielas is tough to beat.
Absolutely. Vielas, I saw his measurables. One of the coaches shared them with me. I think the 3rd fastest guy in the team, and he's playing D-end. That might be why they're switching him to outside. This is 2nd and 12. Loss of 2 on that play. Jones Huntimer rolls out, airmails it out of bounds, uncatchable. 3rd and 12.
Incomplete, bringing up 3rd down and 12.
It wouldn't be a 3 and out. It would kind of be a 4 and out. But is this what Coach Fry likes to do? Is get out of there as soon as possible and keep field position?
Yeah, he likes to predicate on stopping the run, get them into 3rd and long, predictable situations where, you know, Brookings hasn't been known for throwing the ball all over the field. With the exception of their play actions and dink and dunk to the tight end. So
sure.
I think this is kind of right where he wants to be right now.
Jones, Huntimer, I saw him. You see Tetzloff in the slot. He kind of sidearms it almost a little bit. I was watching pregame. So 3rd and 12. Huntimer drops back. And that's going to be caught, and that is just going to be enough for a 1st down. That is Tetzloff, the big 6'5", 235-pound tight end. Linebacker, wide receiver, wherever you want to put him.
Cameron Hillstead on the tackle.
Hillstead on the
gain of 11, 1st down for the Bobcats.
They needed 12, they got 12. And so we're going to hear a little bit of the wind noise like we did last night. And that's just because we have the window open up here in the press box. And you'll hear it through Coach Neeson's headset a little bit tonight. So 1st and 10, ball near midfield on the 48, run up the middle, stuffed again. If this is going to be the case, and we've got in there for the Titans, Kingston Nyberg, Thiek Lual, and Nifke, a kind of a new starter here for the Titans at linebacker. The young man is homeschooled here in T. He plays baseball for T. We saw him a little bit. He played football last year. He'll play a little bit of running back. I don't think now with Vielas moving to running back, you're going to see Nifke back there a lot just from going to practices. That's what I think. But 2nd and 11, loss of 1. Here's Huntimer again. Oh, Thiek Lual and Carter Brown. I mean, Brown and Lual, it's like they knew the play, and it was wide open. Another 3rd and long. That's a loss of 3. So 3rd and 14.
And Carter's done a nice job of just diagnosing. Once he sees the open gap and runs through it, it almost looks like a blitz. And we're not actually blitzing our backers all that much. He's just getting downhill.
Okay. That's good to know because you were right. That did look like a blitz. Now you've got Vielas at the end down at this side. DeBoer next to him. Thiek next to him. I'm sorry, Nyberg. DeBoer is up the top. He's at the right defensive end. That's a blitz by Nifke. He gets in the backfield. This one's thrown up. Going to be some hand fighting. Oh, what a great play.
Excellent
Lucas Randall.
by number 2, Lucas Randall.
Is that a good job, coach, by Randall, just seeing that, just turning around? If he wouldn't have spotted that ball, I think Brookings gets the reception.
It was textbook. He kept the hand on the hip, kind of using it as his third eye, as we call it, and able to feel him start to pump the brakes and slow down and track that thing, undercut it to make a play. That was beautiful.
Number 12, back to punt, Drew Johnson, a senior, 5'11", 175 for the Titans. They have a couple back, Zach Webb, and also should be Korleski. Korleski's been handling the snaps, a little wobbly snap. That ball is going to take a Titan bounce. Going to go to about the 32. We're going to call it the 32, 31-yard line. Titans take over first and 10. From there, good to see number 15, Brenner Conrad, running back in the field. I know that one of the coaches spoke with him before the game and just said, you know, you got to be right, you got to be ready. That's Sean Kennedy. And he just told him, you know, with Brenner worrying about the injury, he was hurt last year, he got hurt this year, and he said you just got to go out there. How do you treat injuries, Coach, whether it's wrestling, you're the head wrestling coach here, or football? See Korleski gets to the outside and gets about 8.
Yeah, to answer your question there, Shad, it is tough. You know, I had a knee reconstruction during my college playing days, and it takes a while to truly trust it. Coming back, you're always kind of worried if you plant off it funny. It's not even a contact thing as much as just trusting the torque that you put on it. And so, but I think Brenner's kind of been through it enough where he kind of knows what to expect and knows his body. So
I asked the coaches how many times is he going to carry it. One coach said under 10. Fry told me he's mainly going to be a blocker tonight, but he will carry it at times. Fry thinks Korleski, who we just saw, is going to sneak up on some people. You see Conrad blocking, and the pass broken up by number 10, Tetzloff. 3rd and 2. As Grant runs over and gets the play. He's going to be running over to the sidelines a lot tonight in a warm night here in T. 80 degrees easily, plus maybe 83. So 3rd and 2. See Dawson Lowry had some time at quarterback last year. Wide receiver, bottom of your screen. Grant will take it. He's going to run the option. Now he's just going to put his head down. He'll pick it up and get more. He gets a block from Lowry on the outside, taken down at about the 46 by number 14, Ezra Idom. You like the running ability of Mitch Grant? Did you see much of this last year?
yeah, he was a kid that we questioned, put it in there as a true freshman when Brenner went down, but we just wanted to give him some more time to understand things and develop it. Even in the first couple games this year, his confidence is starting to come through. It's kind of fun to watch him take over that game in overtime last week.
Yes. And I showed up in practice, and I think he wears a size 16 shoe, and just in practice, he didn't look like a sophomore. He was just poised and confident. Here's Korleski again up the middle. He's going to pick up a first down. Dawson Lowry blocking for him, gets fielded, and he gets ran over. Gain of 16. Caden Korleski. Tackle again by Idom.
And that's a great job by Dashel there, blocking downfield. And he's a guy that just is a really, really smart kid and a well-rounded player that understands leverage and stuff. I'm glad to see Dashel getting some reps at receiver out here.
Yeah, I am too. And like we said, Bonenberger went down, but Lowry's just a logical choice. He's going to block downfield. Same thing in basketball. He's not going to be the best player on the court, but he's going to do a lot of smart things and not turn the ball over. And so I'm with you. It's good to see him out here his senior year. That is a handoff up the middle. That is Conrad. Gets brought down by number 21, Owen Hopp.
Yeah, I think Mitch is kind of itching on that one. He maybe should have pulled it. Brookings kind of slow played it and made the read a little cloudy for him. So
the first game of the year, I went to practice the two days before, the Wednesday and Thursday, and he ran that where he did, and it was Brenner Conrad at that point. Fry said he'd drawn it up since June where Grant is going to keep it, and I jokingly said, and take it to the house. And like you probably saw, he did on that fake because they were so keyed on Brenner Conrad, who had hurt them a lot the year before. Gorleski, that time, off to the left side. 4-down territory, John?
I would think so here. And depends how much you trust in Hillestad's leg and the protection, I guess, for your kicking team. But I would think depending on what you pick up here, they're going to go for it on fourth.
Yeah, I don't think Hillstead, I don't think he's tried one nearly this deep. He's having a good year until last week. Like you saw, he missed the 2 extra points, and it was kind of a head scratcher. But Grant going to take it to the right side. I don't think he'll pick up the first down. He's going to be close. He might have picked. Nope, he's going to be yards short.
Brought down by number 21, Owen Hoppy.
4th down, but that's a good third down play just to get you a little closer. So now it's a no-brainer to go for it.
4th down and 3 for the Titans.
What are you calling here, Coach Neeson?
On 4th and short, I was always a big option guy because they have to respect the dive, and you know those D tackles are going to crash in. It just gives your guys a little more options out in space. Either that or maybe like a little bootleg or something to get Mitch out in space where he's got the option to run it or dump it off. So
ball is pretty much in the middle of the field, maybe over to the left a little bit. Did you, when you were calling plays, did you worry about which side the ball was on, going to the far side, the deep side, or would you try to surprise them, go to the short side every once in a while?
It kind of depends on the game plan. Some teams will respect the field more than the formation, and so sometimes we would come to the boundary here. But a lot of times you're just more worried about personnel matchups, getting the ball in the right guy's hands, and then how the defense is playing it. You know, if they're overextended one direction, using the leverage against them.
Yeah, 5:04, 10 minutes gone. Titans use their first charge timeout of the first half.
Honestly, what I wouldn't mind seeing is a little like counter bash here where we pull to the naked side and ends up keeping it, because I think they're going to key on either Korleski or whoever's in the backfield here pretty hard.
Brenner, you know, I tried to get the coach, I tried to ask him who he's keying on, who he's worried about. Spearfish told me flat out Brenner Conrad. This looks like it's going to the top of the screen. Possibly you have Carter Brown out there as a blocker, and we will see. And here comes Brenner Conrad, short yardage, second effort. Doesn't get it. Or maybe he does. Nope, he does not get it. I was looking at the wrong sticks.
Yeah, I don't mind the call there. I mean, they ran GT back to this side. We just missed on a couple of down blocks and just didn't have enough time to develop there.
Does that call work for later on in the game, perhaps, on a short yardage gain, and then you run it? You know, they think you're going to give it to your big guy, and then you do the option there. Does that ever come into play?
Oh, yeah, definitely. There's a lot of plays that you try to set up and you try to get them thinking one thing and end up coming back to it. But
okay. Here is Brookings first and 10, the snap low, and he just falls on it. And Nifke the first to get to the backfield. He's back there with Chase DeBoer. And that's a big loss, about 5 or 6.
A loss of 6, 7.
Chase DeBoer, what you coached him. What are you getting in Chase DeBoer?
Everything. Chase he's a machine, man. When you're 230 pounds and you're qualifying for state in the open 4, I mean, he's a freak, but he's also a great kid, and he does everything the right way, which a lot of times kids that talented, you know, don't have those personality traits. Right. So Chase has been super fun to work with.
Good for him. There's another low snap, and there's Chase DeBoer right on cue. The big sack in the backfield inside the 10. He heard you talking about him, Coach.
Yeah, and a lot of times when you got bookends like that, you almost worry that they're too explosive. You know, if your interior D-line doesn't get as much push, but, you know, Kingston and Thiek have done a great job of being complementary because it's hard to keep up with guys like Hayden and Chase. But just helping that pocket collapse together as a unit, they've done a really good job this year.
We can say Kingston was in on that too, so it's going to be a third and very long third and about, third and about 15. I thought it was longer than that. Here is Jones Huntemer. He'll drop back, just a handoff, playing it safe, and there's Thiek Lual in the backfield. Boy, that Thiek Lual is a handful too. Did you guys last year already have your eye on Thiek Lual, knowing he was going to be the kind of player he's being?
Absolutely. He was another guy that we pulled up his freshman year to just take some varsity reps. As we got a little bit thin on the depth, but he's another guy kind of like Chase. Is just a good kid, just a really hard worker, and kind of a freakish combination of athletic and big.
And he's in the band, and he's a good student, and a good snap there. You can in the backfield, yeah. And he put in a lot of work this summer. That one takes a Titan bounce, and it's going to bounce almost back to where they started from. Look at that. That one bounces way backwards, about a 10-yard bounce.
That's a nice job, just being patient and letting the play out there.
Is that the difference? And you say patience, is that the difference between a fan and a coach where we're, you know, you did mention setting it up for the second half or the second quarter plays maybe. Is that maybe the difference from a coach and a fan? Do fans get too worked up, too anxious?
At times. I'm guilty of it too when I'm sitting in the stands going, God, we should have done this, or, you know. But there's a lot of games within the game too, you know, the mental edge, that's one, and just the physical battle where our philosophy has always been we're going to run it down your throat, and, you know, everybody's fresh in the first, but once you've been smacked in the mouth 10, 20, 30 times, all of a sudden that explosiveness starts to wear off. That's when you see the big runs really break. So.
Who got that carry there? Was that Brown? I didn't see who got it. Oh, that was Korleski again. Okay, my bad. I'm used to doing PA, so I'm used to having 3 guys watching the game for me and just telling me like I'm Ron Burgundy what to say and who got the tackle and who got the yards. Sometimes I'll piece together how many yards they got. That time it looked like about 3 for Korleski. 2nd and 7. Korleski, Brown, BK in the backfield. And, oh, wow, how did he get through that? That's got to be Carter Brown. Boy, he is strong. Really well put together. One of those two-way Titans.
That's a nice job just running ISO there, picking up the backer right in the hole because Carter didn't have a lot of room to squeak through there and just kept the legs churning. And
second effort. I remember last year we had a 1st and goal from the 10, and I told our stat man, Pete Roberts, I hate 1st and goals from the 10, and he said, it's 1st and goal. And long story short, we ended up stalling out at the 1. So like to get those 1st and goals. It's nice to have it at the 9 or 8 or 7 or even closer. I formation, Korleski in motion. That's Brown. He's going to get he's following Brenner Conrad. And almost a touchdown down to about the half-yard mark as we wind down close to a minute to go, first quarter. 9-yard gain this time for Carter Brown. 3 carries, 25 yards for Brown in this game. Last time we were here, homecoming, our first homecoming loss in, I believe, 14 years, and the Titans just couldn't get it going on the ground anywhere. There's Brenner Conrad. Are they going to give him a touchdown? Touchdown. Welcome back, BK. It's a good day for BK. And now Hilson will come in to kick. Tapia will come in to snap. Holding will be Dashel Lowry. And Titans score first. Good news here. I thought the Titans had the advantage here with Brenner Conrad coming back. There just brings a lot to the team when you look in the backfield and you've got an offensive lineman essentially back there.
Yeah, it's nice to have a switchblade like that. I mean, he could probably start at guard for us. I mean, he's obviously been a quarterback. I mean, he could play probably a slot receiver or full wideout. I mean, he's just a great athletic kid. Perfecto.
Snap by Tapia, hold by Lowry. The boot by Hillstead is good. He missed his last 2. That one was beautiful. Everything was perfect there. So 7-0, 51 seconds to go. Titans have moved the ball pretty well. Aided, let's be honest, by the punt of Brookings. What are you going to do with Brookings here? You look overmatched in your first 2 possessions. Are they mixing things up now, or are they going to wait till halftime? What do you think?
I think they try to stay the course. I mean, they want to establish the run.
Okay.
You know, they don't want to abandon altogether. I wouldn't be surprised if they dial up, you know, some of their screens and that kind of stuff just to get the ball in space a little more. But I don't think they're going to, you know, grip it and rip it just yet.
Sure. And with, with Hunnemer, his first game, and I don't think he's a big thrower. But we'll see. Like you said, a lot of dinks and dumps. 6'5", 235-pound tight end out there. Number 10 is Bergen Tetzloff, so keep an eye on him. And here is Leighton Moran. This time he goes to the other side of the field. Wow, Leighton Moran. Kickoff lands halfway through the end zone. Brookings will take over, 1st and 10 on the 20 with 51 seconds to go in the first quarter. As we take a look at our stat board, 11 carries, 70 yards for the Titans. 7 carries, negative 12 for the Bobcats. So passing yards, 13 for the Bobcats, none for the Titans. 70 yards total for the Titans, 1 yard for the Bobcats here as we probably have 2 plays left. It depends on whether it's going to be a pass or a run in the first quarter. We are off and running. John, you're doing a good job. I'm hammering you with the questions, and you're answering perfectly.
You're just leading in with some great questions. It makes it easy.
Gain of 1 brings up 2nd and 9. You know, I do wrestling with Mr. Eimers, Jeremy Eimers, and he makes it so easy. Griff is always here to help me out in every sport. Griff is the one that told me what a corner kick, how you get a corner kick years ago in soccer.
Oh, yeah.
And then I have Chris Murray in soccer, who it does a great job. And then I have Les in volleyball and basketball. And just having a good color guy just makes a world of difference. And I think people really appreciate it, too. That is the big 6'5", 235-pound Tetzloff. Gets the handoff. Short gain. He's going to pick up probably 2. Peterson on the stop. Usually plays offensive line. 3rd and 4. And that will be your first quarter. T-Area Titans 7 and Brookings 0. Brookings, let's say, quadrupled their yardage output just in those last 2 plays. They went from 1 to, I think, 6 in the first quarter. Quick first quarter. 2 teams that are running the ball. Only 21 minutes into this game. That's if we started on time. We'll switch sides. Brookings now gets the wind behind them. It has died down significantly from pregame when I was having to hold my papers. They were blowing all over the place.
I think that's part of the reason Coach Fry really likes to defer to the second half is a lot of times the wind does die down. If you have the opening kickoff, I mean, he likes to wait until halftime to get the ball anyway. He wants to go out on defense first, and most of the time they're going to take the ball, so might as well get your wind-aided kick and try to establish the field position battle early, too.
Pete Roberts, 605 stats, gets us hooked up with the stats. We're going to pass them along to you. Arminta, 4 carries, 10 yards for the Bobcats. Tetzloff, we just saw his 1 carry, 4-yard gain. Schulte, 1 carry, -2. Otto Edsness, 1 carry, -3. Huntemer, 1 for 3 through the air, 13 yards. Tackles for Brookings, Owen Hoppy and Phoenix Sather lead with 3 apiece. Offensively for the Titans, 3 carries, 25 yards. Wow. And they tried giving it to Tetzloff again. He's met in the backfield. Another 3 and out for the Titans. Brown and Korleski, they each have 3 carries, 25 yards. Grant has 2 for 17. Brenner Conrad, 3 carries, 3 yards. But he has the touchdown for the Titans. Grant 0 for 1 through the air. Leading tacklers for the Titans, Thiek Lual, 3. Ganifke with 2. And the score, it was a Brenner Conrad handoff, 1 yard out, and the kick by Hilst. It was a 4-play, 26-yard possession. Took 1:55 off the clock after the punt. So quarter stats, Brookings was 9 of -6 rushing. Titans were 11 for 70. Possession error pretty even, 621 for Brookings, T539. But as we've seen, the possession doesn't always mean that's who's winning the game.
Yeah, that's where just the production and the field position ends up heavily going towards our favor.
Yeah, field position battle has been great for the Titans. And even if, say, they had to punt it here, they're going to get up and probably... You saw the better punt by the Bobcats there. Why is that? Well, he was kicking with the wind at his back. I wonder if there was Scott Fry, if he hadn't called a timeout earlier, would have thought about maybe using his last 2 and making them punt, but it kind of stinks to use up all your timeouts, Coach.
Yeah, the 1-score ball game, you never know how the second quarter is going to play out. He likes to keep one in the back pocket for just in case, even if he doesn't end up using it.
I'm being a fan again. I'm getting impatient. I didn't see the handoff. Oh, that's Grant kept it up the middle. Nice carry, about 5. Blake Kennegator with a tackle.
Gain of 5 on the play.
We do have to say, John, we had this in the works for a couple of weeks, and I was thrilled to be able to get you up here. But right before you left home, your wife got called in for surgery.
Yeah, she's normally off pretty early on Fridays because it's just a surgery day for him, but they've had a couple cases this afternoon. So,
oh, no.
I was running up by North of Shenanigans to grab the kids, and they've been up here in the box with us
Yeah,
for most
so
of
we
the
have
first
2
quarter.
kids in the box. So if you hear anything or you don't hear Coach Neeson for a little while, he's just taking care of his kids. Well, we really appreciate it.
Nice
Oh, what a great
pitch. That's a great job.
There goes Korleski. Maybe a touchdown saving tackle by Phoenix Sather.
Yeah, Mitch did a great job of just riding the dive right there, pulling it at the right time. It's kind of a tough read for him on the pitch, but he got it just in time. And
hey, that got Noah Watson on his feet, so it must have been a good play. Waddy down there with his Augustana College, the Augustana sophomore. Former Titan, number 33, in his gridiron days for the Titans. 1st and 10 for Grant and the Titans.
kind of wish he was listening and giving him a hard time, saying he's tough to please. But it's good to see him down here.
Yeah, absolutely. Carter Brown, short carry. Hageman on the stop for the Bobcats. They're going to say Tetzloff was in there too. 2nd and 7. So I'm in here filling in for Jerry Paleshi, which I'll probably do. He said, I don't know if he's going to do a lot of these. And Rick Williamson normally is in the chain gang, is on the PA, and he does a great job. And he filled in for me a few years back. Here's the handoff to the right side. Korleski again. He's going to have a good night. He dances out about 2 yards short of the first down. And the tackle by Tetzloff, I believe.
It's a nice job by Thiek at climbing to the next level. Carter Brown, a great block on that one, too.
Yeah, you've got a couple of good blockers, and Brown and also Conrad in there. 3rd and 3. I'm guessing this is 3-down territory for the Titans. When Rick Williamson filled in for me before, it was a windy game against Madison. I bet you remember this game. We held the ball the entire, I believe it was the 2nd quarter.
It was the 3rd quarter.
3rd quarter. We held the ball the entire 3rd quarter. Something that's never happened that I've been a part of. The keeper by Grant on the left side picks up the first down.
Yeah, that was kind of an ugly back-and-forth game in the first half, and I think we were up by maybe a score or so. We got the ball to start the second half and just ate the entire quarter, and then about 2.5 minutes of the fourth even. And that took the wind out of their sails.
Yeah.
Upon there.
I couldn't be here, but I was listening and watching down in Omaha, and I just couldn't believe it. And Pete Roberts in the Titan stat book, he has a write-up about that game. I forget what he calls it, the drive or the quarter or whatever, but we still talk about that quite fondly. 1st and 10 Titans, Grant. As Griffin Weaving got 3 touchdowns a couple weeks ago through the air. This is Carter Brown. He just doesn't go down. About 4, we'll say. Canagator on the stop for the Bobcats.
I like that we're feeding Carter Brown a bit tonight, too. He's a kid that just a workhorse. I mean, he squats probably north of 400 pounds, I'm guessing, at this point in time. And just a hard-nosed runner.
Yeah, he is a nice-looking, just all-around player, both sides of the ball. Senior for the Titans. Emmett DeGeest is also not here today. He's sick. That is a nice-looking linebacker DN for the Titans that's had a good year up to this point. Here's the inside handoff. That's Brown. No, that's Conrad there. Conrad's going to scamper down almost to the first down, about a yard short. So he's tackled by Ezra Item. And this will be 3rd and 1. Titans drawn up the play, 6:40 to go. With this being 4-down territory, you think about throwing the ball here, or you just keep running it down the throat?
You know, I would say if they're going to keep 2 high safeties, you just make them prove that they can stop it.
Sure,
you know.
exactly.
Maybe it be jumped a little early, but they didn't catch it. Nice run.
Great run by Carter Brown. Picks up 1st and goal. That is Ashton Baker on the tackle.
And the nice part about running it like we are right now is that you just kind of force the defense to get a little more aggressive and stack the box to get a little more aggressive, and that's when you can really have some fun with your play actions and your screens.
Yeah. No, I think you're exactly right. If they're going to run the 2 highs, then make them beat you with the bottom 9.
Yeah, especially we're down here in Dubs and on the 5-yard line, and they're just.
There's Korleski. If he's not in, he's close. The far judge had lined up his spot, was in the end zone, and then he backed out of there. So here comes your wife. She's out of surgery.
She is still scrubbed up and everything. So.
If you need to go talk to her, these are weird circumstances. You sure can. We appreciate her letting you do this. And
we're knocking on the doorstep. She better hustle up. I'm not missing a touchdown.
Okay. Titans 2nd and goal. That's to Brenner Conrad. It's a good day for BK. His 2nd touchdown of the season. Cameron, I forget Cameron's last name, but he said Brenner was his favorite player, and they asked him why, and he said, because he's nice to everybody in school. That's homecoming king Brenner Conrad. I remember when I used to do crossing guard, every morning he would come across the street and tell me good morning and have a nice day, and you don't see a lot of 8th graders doing that. So Brenner Conrad on the touchdown, coach, the 1-yard plunge would have been good from a lot further, but
On the 2-point conversion, intercepted
Titans went for 2, intercepted. So
by number 19, Kingston Schneider.
Kingston Schneider broke up, intercepted the 2-point conversion that I wasn't even watching. But that started in the Clayburg days, the lining up. Will you explain to us about the 2-point, when you're going to go, whose decision it is, all of that?
Yeah, I don't even remember where it's an old college trick. You just kind of catch people out of alignment or get them unprepared, and even when teams are expecting it, a lot of times they're not playing it correctly. We've got a couple different options that we can run out of it where sometimes it's just truly an option with the quarterback and the kicker. Sometimes you can dump it to somebody. So it's kind of nice to see what potential mismatches there are, and if nothing else, lull them to sleep if you want to fake it later on just a regular extra point.
Sure. Whose call is it?
Usually it'll be the guy that's calling the offense or whoever the special teams coordinator is. Sometimes we've given kids the freedom in the past to call it if they see it. So, Dash will be in the holder. They might have just given him the green light and said, hey, if you think we got a shot, go ahead and take it.
You give the signal callers the chance to call it. A kid like Cale Lundeen is going to call it for 2-point conversion every time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Clayburg just told him when to kick it and whatnot. Especially it'll depend on the game. In the situation here with the 1-score lead going up by 2, I can see him being a little more aggressive with it.
Right. And it's looking like we're moving the ball pretty easily. And so that could have to do with it. And they're stopping. Hillstead still a good kick going into the wind.
Very nice job by Bielas avoiding the block on the way down. A lot of times kids want to get out of their lane or they go too far out, and he just stayed skinny, and great play.
Playing offense, defense, special teams. Is he on special teams is it just because he is like the jersey number he's wearing, 28, Chase Van Tall's number? Is he a little bit of a maniac?
Yeah, Hayden is the Energizer Bunny, man. He's a kid, even when he's dog tired and should probably quit, he won't. He's so fun to have in the weight room in the summer because he's just – everything is to the max, and you see that with his motor on the field.
Yes,
he's
running in late.
Go.
Gavin Stonke hasn't played a lot, but I've heard really good things about the sophomore Gavin Stonke. I've heard good things about the sophomore class overall, and that was one that quarterback Jones Huntemer would love to have back. Ezra Item was wide open, incomplete, 2nd and 10. I had, Coach, one of your wrestlers up here Tuesday night, Lainey Haynes. I subbed, and then I ran into her in the school, and I couldn't believe she was just as friendly as ever, still smiling, even though what's happened to her tore her leg up pretty good. But I wanted her just to come up and say some things. And you're not going to have her for wrestling, but sounds like she'll be there every second of the way as a manager for you.
Yeah, we've been kind of giving her a hard time, calling her mom, the last year or two since Brianna graduated. She's kind of been the character in the upperclassmen of our team, even when she was a freshman. And, well, now you just kind of have a little bit different perspective. But she's got such a great attitude where I just wish I was as positive as she is. Just a phenomenal kid. And she's got a good head on her shoulders. She understands that, it's not a career-ending thing. And as frustrated as she is and ready to compete, that she'll be able to make her way back stronger. So
Yeah, she said to me yesterday, nothing I can do about it now. So, while smiling, and she just said last Tuesday night when she was up here that, or was it last night? I think it was last night that she just said that wrestling isn't everything. There's other things that she's looking forward to. Brenner Conrad.
that's a great fill on the pursuit there.
He makes the stop out there on Jones Hunnemer. And another 3 and out for the Bobcats offense with 4 minutes and change to go. Hillstead and Korleski will drop back.
That's just a really heads-up play by Brenner, too, because it's tough when you're playing that angle pursuit because you can't bail on your flat defense, but at the same time, like as that quarterback starts approaching the line of scrimmage, you got to get downhill. And luckily, we had some chain room to grow, too, there. But
out there on an island, nice kick here, returnable. But Korleski had called the fair catch. Good block out there by number 14, Adam Berglund, another sophomore for the Titans. 36-yard punt. The Titans will take over at their own 45-yard line. 3:48 now. Titans 2 timeouts. Brookings has all of their timeouts. And tell us about the big man out there, the 6'6", 265-pound Cody Peterson. He's playing as we see another big lineman, Jacob Youngnier, walk through, watching his former team. Is Cody the real deal at tackle?
yeah, Cody's such a good kid, too, and he's very coachable. I mean, for a lot of guys his size that just kind of predicate themselves on being a big old animal. I mean, he's very intellectual, too, you know.
Yeah.
And he's a great kid as well. I mean, he's a kid that, you know, last year I called him real quick, said, hey, we're going to move the organ in the church. I need a couple big, strong guys. Sure, we'll be there on Sunday. I'll help. You know, I mean, he's just a selfless guy, and he's got the traits that translate to being a good offensive lineman, that protective nature and the selflessness. You know, he's pretty good.
Yeah, Coach Fry said some schools have been calling and asking about him. He's not sure if Cody's going to play the next level. He's a kid that can surely play next level if he wants to, but
yeah, especially he's got long arms and his footwork is getting a lot better. You know, I think he's a little bit late maybe in that department, but when you're that big, that young, it's hard to develop agility too. I mean, so.
Yeah, I was looking at Brenner Conrad pregame, and he seems like he has big, long arms, and he's been a big boy for a long time. And let's get him through this game, and it's great to see him back, get 2 touchdowns in the first half, and maybe gaining some confidence on that leg of his. 1st and 10. Brookings called a timeout right before that play was snapped. So Brookings 2 timeouts, Titans 2 timeouts. And that one goes up the middle.
Carried by number 23.
That was by Korleski. Gain of, we'll call it 1. Tackle for the Bobcats. Owen Hoppy and Hageman, 2nd and 9. As the clock tick, 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 as Pete Roberts would say.
Yeah, I don't know if he told, you know, Mitch to watch the back judge here, but 3 minutes left. Even if you can't get a score in, you know, you want to take as much off as you can. And
sure.
Limit Brookings' ability to do anything with it.
And remember, the Titans get the ball. Do you have a name for this where you can close out the second quarter and then you get the ball in the third quarter? Do you have a name for that?
We didn't have specific terminology for it, I guess. Just closing out a half, we'd usually call it like a 3 or 4 minute offense, where it's not quite your 2 minute offense where you're real up tempo, but it's a little bit of sense of urgency depending on the field position. And as you get closer, you kind of slow things down. And
sure,
the nice part is, you know, starting around midfield, they didn't have to have much urgency right away. So
3rd and 5 for the Titans. This has been their longest 3rd down play in quite some time. Their punter, Dashiell Lowry, you see him lined up top of the screen. He hasn't punted yet tonight. Brookings has already punted 4 or 5 times, 4 for sure. So there they moved a little early, too. Mitch Grant throws it behind Weaving Guy. I think even if you put it right on his numbers, it would have been broken up. So the Titans, this is a good spot to punt here. Their first punt of the first half with 2:26 to go. Weaving Guy saw him as he's got an offer from Northern State and I think some other schools for basketball. I told him in practice I was a little surprised to see him playing. But he tells me he's going to play until he graduates.
Yeah, he's one of those kids. I mean, he's just like his older brothers. He's just a baller. You know, he's going to play everything and anything and everything all the time, you know.
Yep.
If there's an off season, he's probably joining a bowling league or a darts league because he's just a competitor.
Schulte on the fair catch at the 25 of 221. 2 timeouts for the Bobcats, trailing 13-0. 1st and 10 from there. If they've got a 2-minute offense, we should see it. Keep an eye on number 10, Bergen Tetzloff, lined up in the slot. Mainly passing yardage, just 13 for the Bobcats. I believe 2 passes completed tonight. Shotgun formation for them. There is Berglund. Nope, they're just going to hand it off up the middle and go nowhere, lose a yard and a half. That is Nyberg living in the backfield tonight. His second tackle, both for losses, I believe. It was one was a half a sack and another was the tackle for loss. So good job by Nyberg. 2nd and 12. Brookings looks like they're in no hurry whatsoever. Now about 82 yards from the end zone. If you get a stop here and it's 3rd and long, are you calling a timeout if you're the Titans?
Oh, I think so, especially the way the defense has been playing. And that's where you can get really aggressive. Because even if you throw a pick deep, it's just as good as a punt. And
Belas and Brown on the tackle for the Titans. That was number 28 on the carry. Ben Schulte, sophomore, 5'9". And so it is going to be a timeout. Titans, that's their second. They have 1 left. As it's going to be a 3rd down and 10. Maybe just under. 1st down is the 30-yard line, so we'll keep an eye on that. So 3rd and about 9 if we look where the ball is. And the other thing about calling the timeout here is Brookings really doesn't seem like they care if they get down and score or not. So even if they pick up the 1st down, I guess they're going to probably be a little bit more aggressive, but probably still not too crazy aggressive.
Yeah, it's been a pretty conservative game plan for them so far. So I'm not sure if they thought our D-line is probably undersized if you look at it on paper, but when you take a look at the composition of that size, I mean,
yeah,
it's going to be tough to run the football on us. To credit Coach Johnson and company, they've done a great job with the defense all year. I mean, I don't think we've given up more than 2 scores in the game defensively. We haven't picked 6 last week. Was one of the 3 touchdowns. But
he told me last year he was impressed with Kingston Nyberg. Not the biggest guy, but he said he was surprised how good he played last year. Brandon will throw. This is DeBoer. Pass is going to be bottom of your screen. It's going to be caught and then dropped.
Great job finishing the play there.
Korleski, a great job by him. Great job laying out for the Bobcats player. Still down, I believe that's Gus Arminta. Nope, that is Ezra Idem. They say Korleski broke it up. He might have, but I think the ground caused more of the breakup than anything. Titans trainer out on the field. Here comes Brookings trainer. Might have just knocked the wind out of him, Coach.
Yeah, I would guess with the way they landed. It's hard to tell. Korleski did a good job staying with it because that's a great effort by Idem to make the catch. And for all intents and purposes, maybe would have if Cade didn't finish, raking through the hands as they came to the ground. So
yeah, it would have been one of the best catches we've seen all year, right at the 50-yard line, but no go. Ezra Idem up, walking off on his own. Looks like he's fine. The clock stopped on the incomplete pass. Titans will get the ball back. Brookings will be punting just outside the 20. And the Titans will have the 1 timeout and 4 downs, probably about 1:20 to work with.
They've been getting pretty close on a couple of those punts, too. I'd like to see them bring some pressure. And I mean, you're probably not going to set up a return here anyway. If you can really get after them and maybe try to block one here, that's an absolute game changer.
Yeah, we haven't seen a blocked punt at least not a real clean blocked punt. I believe the 6th punt of the night already for Brookings. Hey, we know how it felt. This was us 2 weeks ago, punting and punting and punting. Titans are going to pressure it a little bit, just didn't get there. This is Korleski, lets it bounce. And that one takes a Brookings bounce. Bounces inside the 30, so that'll counter that short punt early on. Thiek Lowell on the trainer's table, trying to assess how serious this is. It's his right leg, right knee.
Titans will take over there, 1st and 10 from their own 28.
1:17 to go. 1 timeout left for the Titans. So what do you do here? You start off a little non-aggressively with a 2-touchdown lead?
Yeah, I'm guessing he's going to call a run here just to try to get the clock moving, and then maybe take a shot down the field after that. Just, in case it goes awry, you at least ate some clock on the drive here. Still have one timeout in your pocket,
Yep,
too.
Titans go-to receiver. He's right down here, number 10. Griff Wiebenga, the 6'3" senior.
Ooh, hit as he throws, good.
Hit as he throws, but Wiebenga's still going to get a hold of it.
Get out of bounds. Nice job.
Big play for the Titans. You saw that. I was wondering if it got hit, but you saw it because it sure came out of there slow. Titans were lucky it wasn't picked off.
Yeah, Mitch did a good job just hanging in there and taking that one in the chin, though. 'Cause if he didn't commit to his throw, that does get picked, and he at least followed through it the best he could.
Great job by him. Mitch Grant, last year as a freshman, we saw him on the basketball court have a great year. I think in one game alone he had 3 blocks. Why is that impressive? Because they were all on perimeter shooters who the coaches don't even want you attempting to block shots on. He was blocking 3-pointers, and really, really good sophomore for the Titans. They're going to be happy to have around. Carter Brown breaks the tackle again, gets inside the 20. He is stopped there. Titans knocking on the door. 1:02 to go. They have one timeout. Ball down to about the 17-yard line. 17-yard carry by Brown after the long pass to Wiebenga. That clock ticking now. Under 53, 52. Top of the key, Dashel, Lowry. Top of the TV, bottom, Griff Wiebenga. Watch for Wiebenga, and the Titans are going to be called probably for a false start. As we see some mustard on the lettuce. This is a crew, doesn't call a lot of fouls, and it's consistent, both sides of the ball. So we'll hear from Jason Reisdorfer. Turn your mic on, Jason. Mr. Reisdorfer tells me he likes having the live mic because he says some referees don't get that practice, and then they get to state and they're not ready for the live mic. So 40 seconds, clock running. Titans have one timeout. Grant from the shotgun. Ball at about the 22. Grant drops back. He's got Wiebenga if he wants him. And Wiebenga, he held on!
Catch.
What a catch, Griff Wiebenga into double coverage! And the Titans didn't even use all the time. The new LED lights, you see them flickering up above. And Noah Watson, the Wiebenga brothers, and down below us, and with Carter Turek, former player Ethan Viss, and current superfan, former and current superfan Noah Watson had to come up to celebrate with the boys. Titans going to kick here. Here's Hillstead. Straight through. Count it. 20 to 0. John, let's be honest. Titans haven't always looked good. You worry about them coming in tonight with Brookings. Diagnose a little bit of what you've seen out of the Titans offense and defense first half.
Yeah, I mean, it points throughout the season so far. It just is. There's a lot of bright spots, and we just haven't been playing together. And tonight has been complimentary football. I mean, the defense is hanging tough, and they've been playing pretty well all year. But then offense has just been taking care of the ball. We haven't turned it over. We're sustaining drives. We're running the ball down their throat, and that's obviously setting up the play action pass and some other things that we're getting going now. So it's been fun to see all three phases come together. But
yeah.
I think last week I thought was such a huge win for them just because there was a pretty ugly game in Mitchell. We're on the road. It's a team we probably thought we were going to beat by a couple scores. And then we go into overtime. And it's like, Jesus, we better get this thing done. And the kids just, I mean, it's hard to tell from, afar, but it just seems like they were composed and that there was never a doubt. They just, when it got tough, we got it done. So
yeah, the Titans get down, score the go-ahead touchdown, and all they have to do is kick the extra point through with, I think, 20 seconds or under a minute to go, and they missed it. And then it almost felt like a win right there for Mitchell that they got to play on, and it was all even again. And then the Titans missed one in overtime, and you felt the same thing again.
Yeah, well, wise man once told me after an ugly district tournament, he says, you know what, Johnny, sometimes winning ain't pretty.
But it's winning.
Yeah, good teams find a way even when it's not going their way. So
this is Leighton Moran. We got spoiled with the Chase Van Tall kicking it out of the back of the end zone for years, and Baran's had some nice kickoffs tonight. This one's fine, going into the wind at about the 18-yard line. This is the young man who took the opening kickoff, Jude Minderingham.
Moran's kick, returned by number 80, Jude
Meandering, I'm sorry. That was one that I thought for sure.
Number 18, Trevin Otis. 16-yard return, setting up the bounce.
16-yard return, meandering.
35-yard line.
22 seconds. You've got Griff Wiebenga and also Lucas Randall back deep for the Titans. And now we'll see what the Bobcats want to do. They have 2 timeouts of their own, only 22 seconds. See if they want to, with 3 touchdowns, and almost broken up by Randall. He steps out a second earlier. He's got 6.
That's a nice break on the ball, especially when you're giving him a little cushion, trying to take away the big play, and he just put his foot in the ground and got downhill. That's pretty good, nice closing speed there.
That one make first-year head coach Carter Gordon just run it out and maybe get to halftime and see what they can come up with there. So when these teams go to halftime, the Titans leave the field. They go up to the weight room. What goes on up there? Are we getting supplements, food, drinks?
It's pretty much just a quick go to the bathroom, get some refreshments if you need it. There's usually a Gatorade cooler that the trainers put together for us, and then just a quick chalk talk. We'll draw up on the whiteboard in there, and just if there's any adjustments we need to make on both sides of the ball, and kind of break into some small groups for pep talks and the position specifically, and it's pretty cut and dry real quick and get back out here. So,
well, there is your first half, one of the better first halves the Titans have put together all season, and this is against a formidable opponent, against the team that beat that Mitchell team that the Titans had to go to overtime to beat by 40. And so I looked at that. I always look at the scores of the teams we've both played, and that was kind of an eye-opener for me. And they hung in there with Pierre. Both losses are one-possession losses. And so you just didn't know, but Titans own the first half. We'll take about a 5-minute break, and then we'll come back and go over the individual and team stats at halftime. Halftime, T-Area 20, Brookings Bobcats 0. Stick around.
Plus Sweepstakes Parade Award, which means they had the highest score of the day of all classes and competing bands. In field, they came in 3rd place in AAA and 4th place overall, and also brought home hardware for the Outstanding Drum Major Award and the Getzman Award. This is the band's 2nd year receiving this award. It is given to a program with educational value, pride, and sportsmanship, and with outstanding performances for the day. The high school and middle school bands both competed in parade competition earlier today in Menno. The middle school band took 1st in their division, and high school band got 2nd in their division, losing by only 1 point to West Central. They also brought home the Outstanding Drum Majors and Outstanding Winds Award. Tomorrow, both the middle school and high school bands will be competing in the parade portion of the Festival of Bands. The parade starts at 8:30 a.m. on Phillips Avenue, and the T bands are scheduled to perform at 10:20 and 10:25. The high school band will also compete in the March to the Meridian in Yankton for both street and field on October 11th, and finish up their season competing in field competition at the Quad State Regional Competition held in the Dakota Dome in Vermillion. This year's show is entitled Marion, the Ladyhood of Sherwood Forest, written by Randall Standridge. You've heard the tales of a noble outlaw stealing from the rich, giving to the poor, and hiding beneath the green canopy of Sherwood Forest. Robin Hood, the people's hero. But time has a way of twisting truth into legend, and legends often leave someone important behind. This is not the story you think you know. This is the untold tale, the true story of Marion, the Ladyhood of Sherwood Forest. Soloists are Claire Hieronymus and Kelsey Kramer. On the French horn, Ali Wallum on flute, and Aviana Steen portraying Marion. The band invites you to sit back and enjoy tonight's performance. Feel free to clap and cheer when you see or hear something you really like. Drum majors, is your band ready?
Once upon a time in Sherwood Forest, there lived a famous outlaw. They robbed from the rich and gave to the poor, and were loved by all the people of Nottingham. Over the years, the story was told so many times that some facts were changed, but now the true story can be told. The story of Marion, the ladyhood of Sherwood Forest. Marion and her band of outlaws moved silently through the forest, following the king's escort. They hoped to free Prince Robin, who had been charged with treason for aiding the outlaws. Marion caught Robin's arm, and they both smiled. Sheriff of Nottingham and his men swarmed out to the forest. It was a trap. Marion and her band were surrounded. The sheriff and his men fled. Robin was saved, and all of the outlaws cheered because the day had been saved once again. By Marion, the ladyhood of Sherwood Forest.
Marching band.
Place we call home. Burn Island. Thank you for being part of our store since 1965.
Are you ready for some trash talk? We're talking about RBS Sanitation, a local family-owned and operated company that takes pride in keeping our communities clean. Our trucks collect trash efficiently, while our friendly staff ensures satisfaction. We take residential and commercial trash easy and clean, making it quick. The company delivers trucks. When life gets messy, trust us to help you clean up. Call us today at 605-213-0138.
We're not here to tell you what to do. We're here to help you find out for yourself. Catalyst, spark, to make you see what's inside you. The purpose, the power that can transform yourself and the world around you. You know it. We're the fuel to get you. The formula so you can blow up everything. A boost when things get tough. The push to fulfill your potential and knock down the barriers that hold us back and swallow us. Whether it's your first time or a new beginning, we're here to help turn dreams into reality and remind you how you inspired the world. We're here to make sure everyone has all they need today so we can all fuel tomorrow.
Coach Matt Brew joining us up here in the booth. Coach Brew is one of the two coaches that calls the game from the booth. What do you do really quickly, Coach Brew?
Well, most of the time I'm looking at what front they're in, seeing if they're over, under, front, seeing if the backers are coming, seeing what kind of coverage we're getting in the back end. Just kind of giving Coach Fry my 2 cents on what I see down there, trying to get the right play dialed up.
Best first half of the year?
Yeah, I would say as of far, that was a pretty good physical half. Both sides of the ball were physical brand of football there.
Got to see Grant uncork it a couple times and a couple nice catches.
Got to see Griffin Weaving his athleticism shining through a little bit there.
I can't believe he made that catch in the back of the end zone.
That was one of those plays where we called it up. We thought we had the right coverage. You see it, and as he lets it go, you're like, no, no, no. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. Griff will make it right.
Good news, Brenner Conrad coming back. 2 touchdowns in the first half. Are you happy for him?
Yeah, we were trying, especially if we get any of that short yardage, we were trying to get him back, get him in the end zone, just get his mentality right. But
let's get Belos the ball. I'd like to see that happen.
All right, I'll see if I can make it happen.
20-0, great first half. I'm going to go over the stats here with Coach Neeson. Right. I'll let you get back to it. But thanks for joining us.
Yep,
Everybody's favorite middle school teacher, Mr. Brew. First half stats, courtesy Pete Roberts, 605 stat. Here's the one that jumps out at me first. Titans offense, 200-plus yards. And the Bobcats, just 4. So that was 70 to -6 at halftime. So Titans, all right, the quarter. So Titans first quarter gave up -6. Second quarter, they gave up a whole, 10? So individually, John, you have the stats individually. Who do you have for the Titans rushing? I think, no, is this, maybe I do have our second half stats. I don't think nope, I'm going to grab our halftime stats here. 1 second. All right, there we go. That's better.
Yeah, 212.
212 to 4. And time of possession there went, let's just say 14 for T, 10 for Brookings. Individually for the Titans, 9 carries, 57 yards for Korleski, 7 carries, 56 yards for Carter Brown, 4 carries, 29 yards for Mitch Grant. Brenner Conrad back with the Titans, 5 carries, 10 yards, but 2 touchdowns. The other touchdown came through the air. That was to Griff Wiebinga, 38-yard touchdown after the catch on the sidelines. Late in the first half, Grant 2 for 4 through the air, 60 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. That's the key. Griffin Wiebinga, 2 catches, 60 yards, and a touchdown. Dawson Lowry, he punted once, 30 yards. And individually for the Titans on defense, 4 tackles for Belos, 3 for Thiek Lual, 2 apiece for Nifke and Brown. Individually for the Bobcats, Arminta, 5 carries, 8 yards. 3 carries, 5 yards for Schulte. Titans will get the kickoff here. Hunter 1 through 6, 13 yards, no interceptions. Keep an eye on that. I'm sure the Bobcats like that. 5 punts for 169 for Johnson. The leaders for the Brookings, 6 tackles for Tetzloff, 5 apiece for Hoppy and Sather. Here come the T-area Titans. After a very good first half, that's a very good return. Korleski all over the place tonight. We talked about it at halftime. It's kind of a multi. Everybody's carrying the ball well. You got 4 guys you're having to watch out for. Griffin, you've got Grant and Korleski and Brown, and then you put in the big man, Brenner Conrad.
Yeah, you kind of want to ride the hot hand, but it's nice when we can spread it out a little bit and really make them respect the entire running attack here.
Yeah, here's Korleski off the right side, and then picks up positive yards, about 11-yard gain, Cade Korleski.
Korleski has such good vision for a young back, too. I mean, he's explosive and he's patient. You kind of see his run is almost like a mink or something. His hips are low to the ground. He's ready to move, but he still is chugging forward. You know, he's not dancing by any stretch.
Yeah, 10 carries, 70 yards now for Korleski for the Titans. 1st and 10 near midfield. Korleski just a junior for the Titans. Grant keeps it. Nowhere to go on the keeper. Kind of an awkward tackle. You hope he's okay. He got his leg pinned underneath him. And I think Jason Reisdorfer saw that too. Stop the clock. He's winding it now. It did look like a bad tackle and you worried, but Grant is up. Talking over with Scott Fry. I tell Titans basketball coach Drew Weber I feel so sorry for him. He's got 3 starters on this football team, and every play you got to hold your breath because last year they lost Brenner Conrad for the season, and it was a big loss losing a 6'4" big man like that. So all are healthy still. Wiebenga, Conrad, and Grant, all hoopers for the Titans. There is Carter Brown getting it across midfield on 2nd and 11.
Brought down by number 7, Blake Cannigator.
Going to bring up a 3rd and long, and that's what the return of Korleski of about 30 yards did there for the Titans. It's going to get them set up here where at least if they have to punt, with the wind behind them on this punt, probably pin the Bobcats fairly deep. Titans leading by 3 scores. Grant had success, probably his best half throwing the ball, 60 yards in the first half. He's just going to keep this one, nowhere to go. He kind of almost pitched that forward. Korleski is going to pick up the 1st down and more. Shoved deep out of bounds. That's going to be a carry, I don't know, 17, 15 yards? Let's have Rick tell us.
Tackle by number 19,
Right about 12, it looks like he really spotted it there.
Gain of 11 and a 1st down for the Titans.
I like the call there, running speedo. You know, I mean, you're probably looking to pick up 4 or 5 and maybe go for it on 4th.
Right.
But they really respected the pass and kind of ran the defenders off there a little bit.
Is that what the 2 passes, deep passes that Wiebenga did? Is it keeping those, you see the 2 high safeties still up there?
I wonder if that's just kind of their base defense and they're staying there. I mean,
Carter Brown carrying the ball tonight, not going down at first contact at all. Another Titan 1st down. That's a nice 1-2 punch with Korleski, kind of the speed demon, and then Carter Brown, the hammer, and then, hey, don't forget about Brenner Conrad in the backfield, and your quarterback is a good runner, and Mitch Grant, too. It's all working tonight for the Titans. And, Griff, you made a good point. Is that because they're finally somewhat fully healthy? I think maybe you might be onto something there.
Yeah, because one guy coming back takes a lot of pressure off of not just his backup, but now all of a sudden the other side of the ball.
And Mitch Grant Mitch Grant got hit. Sailed out the back of the end zone. You'd love to see it, the pass downfield at least. As we see young Olowski there bringing the ball out. He gave me some of his sprees pregame, ball boy. I heard he is a terror on the football field, so just a 4th grader, he told me, so I look forward to seeing him when he gets up here.
They've got some nice feeder programs at the FBU around here. They do a really nice job.
And I think that it's a big difference why East River football is what it is. 2nd and 10. First down is about the 12-yard line. Here's the option. The pitch. Brenner Conrad cuts back inside. Breaks a couple tackles and then goes down at about the 17.
Tackle by Mason Mathis.
So that'll be a gain of 6, maybe 7. Brings up a manageable 3rd down. Brings up short enough where this is 4-down territory, no doubt.
Gain of 5. 3rd down and 5 for the Titans.
3rd and 5 after the 5-yard carry by Brenner Conrad. We tick down now under 9 minutes, 3rd quarter. 20-0 Titans. I'll just say the time and the score because I do have people that tell me they'll listen while driving sometimes, and I don't want them to look down. I want them to listen, but so we kind of treat it like a little bit of a radio broadcast as well, so can't go wrong. Tyler Merriam, SDSU, Grant is going to be taken down and sacked at about the 29-yard line. Blake Canagator, and also number 36, Stephen Noski, is going to bring up 4th and long. What do you do here, Coach Neeson?
Yeah, you're inside the 30. You're probably out of field goal range. You're just as good taking a shot and trying to convert it as anything else around here. Because even if you punt it, you're only netting 20 yards.
Well, you hope. If you get it in the end zone, you're only going to net 9.
Yeah, so
yeah, that's a good call.
A jump ball to Griff that doesn't go our way is just as good as any punt or anything else in this situation.
And an interception in this case, if you can get him down right away, would actually be better than nothing. And just thrown out of bounds. It looked like Wiebenga got stood up. No flags on the play.
Pass
Incomplete. Bobcats stop the Titans. They'll take over 1st and 10. Their own 29-yard line. 7:48 to go, 3rd quarter.
1st and 10.
If we're being honest, Bobcats really haven't gotten close to scoring. I don't know if they've crossed midfield. And what that means is when they are punting, it means the Titans are starting at pretty good starting position every play. The punt into the wind that actually rolled back, it looked like it rolled inside the 20. I think a Brookings player kicked it about the 25. That was kind of an anomaly. We haven't seen a bad punt since then. That's by the keeper. This little looks a little Pierre Governor-ish here as they put that tight end, Bergen Tetzloff, in the backfield. He's going to gain about 12. Their longest play of the night. Picks up a 1st down. 15-yard carry by Tetzloff. Now a Titan is down. You might worry about some cramping, top of the screen. I think that's Moran for the Titans. He handles the kickoffs. So,
yeah, especially with mid-80s in October, it's just something the kids aren't used to. I mean,
we saw that the first week, and it was about this time. It was just cramp after cramp after cramp, and reminds those boys to go over and get some of that water. Is the water, is that the best deterrent for cramps or stretching, or what is it?
A lot of it's acclimation and your nutrition ahead of time. Potassium is huge. That's why you always hear people, eating bananas and drinking pickle juice.
Sure.
But just, staying hydrated and not keeping sodium in you, too, because it's going to help you retain that water. Or that's why a lot of electrolytes and that kind of stuff is lost when people are drinking Gatorade. So, just making sure you have good nutrition ahead of time and then getting enough salt, but not too much where you're dehydrating yourself.
Yeah. You were a 11-year Titan coach. Before that, you coached in Nebraska, defensive coordinator for how many years?
So 9 years in T and 2 in Nebraska.
9
total
and 2.
Of 11.
Okay,
so.
11. And then you played at DWU?
Dakota State.
Dakota State. Boy, they're doing big things up there, huh? That's exciting.
I know. I haven't been back to a game yet, but the Brian Kern Stadium looks phenomenal.
It does. And the locker rooms, too.
God, and the pictures don't even look real. I'm like, this is CGI. You guys didn't build that in Madison.
Well, you might see on the screen our new addition. You would swear it's AI because it just doesn't look real. And as Griff pans the camera there now, that is a school. It doesn't look like it on TV, but it fills the whole field beautifully, and it's a great backdrop. The new school for T doubled their size, added a second gym onto the right side of the screen. That's the existing gym, but the gym on the other side. Hey, you got a wrestling room over there for your wrestlers. You say you're already outgrowing.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. We're not quite bouncing off the walls, literally like we were upstairs in the old one, but
in the old storage room with no windows and a low ceiling, and
we are very just blessed to have the facilities we do in T here.
And I see you get a park out there. This is Tetzloff again. You wonder if they're going to do some more of this Pier offense.
You got to get the ball to your best player, and if you're having trouble getting it out in space, just give it right to him. I mean, he's a load at 230, and to move like that.
Yeah, we'll see later on coming up here the number 10 ranked tight end in the entire country from Pier. They have a big man at tight end, and I talked to a coach that played against him. He said they really didn't use him a lot. He was really surprised, but this is what they look like they're going to. This is Pier just running the same play with a big man. And so the Bobcats tried a new quarterback to start this game. They were down 20-0, but moving the ball slowly but surely now. Another first down after a 15-yard carry and then an 8-yard carry for Tetzloff. So I had to open my big mouth, and now Brookings is in Titan territory as Thiek Luell runs off.
Yeah, somewhere Coach DeBoer is smiling, though. Seeing these foot-to-foot splits in a full house backfield here, I mean, that's good old-fashioned football right there.
Stacked up there by Lucas Randall, the sophomore, on the outside. And you wonder how long can Tetzloff keep this up?
Yeah, it's kind of a gamble right here for where's attrition going to set in faster. I mean, because our D-line, we're a lot better off we have been in some years where not everybody's playing both ways.
Right. I remember the years when we had to play both ways, and we still could have used a couple more guys. But yeah, this is, I think, in our 11 AA days, which is 3-4 years now, has been some of our biggest and best O-lines. Tetzloff takes a
I think they're going to say two guys in motion. Or
okay.
Legal shift maybe.
Carried by number 22, Jay Harris.
A flag on the play. No flags and no yards for the first half against the Bobcats. This will be their first penalty against them. Just 1 for 5 for the Titans. So, like I said, this is a crew that doesn't throw a lot of penalty flags unless it's very obvious. That one to them must have been obvious.
When's the last game in T where you haven't seen 5 or 6 flags in each quarter? I mean,
yeah, I know. You were right. Good call. Coach Neeson, 2 men in motion.
After the penalty, it'll be 2nd and 13 for the
whether they did or not, I would have been clamoring for it on the sideline, trying to talk them into it. So,
you know, I went to practice. I was surprised Coach Fry wasn't a big yeller, not swearing. I was pleasantly surprised. Who's the big yeller on the sidelines? Is there anybody, or are they all pretty calm, unless, of course, something happens?
None of the guys are really big yellers in like your traditional coach context. I mean, Coach Johnson gets really fired up and gets hoop and hollering. Coach Shockman is kind of a certified maniac. You can see him getting excited right there, but they're all about the kids. It's all about, I mean, that's a great job, and you got to do this better. I mean, I've coaching for him as long as I did. I've never heard him say anything derogatory towards a player.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we got a good group of guys.
Mason Scheidinger wouldn't hurt a fly, would he?
He could probably hurt a lot of them, but I don't know
he's
if
a gentle
would.
giant.
Yeah, I'm just amazed at how intellectual he is. He's a smart guy, and
that's
really
because he
well.
went to USD. I know that you're saying. No, I'm kidding. As we have a USD guy.
Despite that,
up here
he's
with
pretty
us.
smart.
3rd and long, 3rd and 8 or 9 for the Bobcats that have been exclusively on the ground. They might just go for it again here.
Oh,
Looked like they left a little early.
Yeah, the slot jumped there too.
It's delayed. Well, it was going to be a delayed run and then threw it behind him. The crowd saw it,
but like you said, though, Shad, they are calling it both ways. We've maybe gotten a couple that we just came out of the blocks. You know, we didn't cross the line yet.
Surprised Brookings is kicking it down 3 scores, under 5 minutes to go in the 3rd. Is that just because of the distance, or?
Yeah, I'm guessing with it being 4th and long, and they were probably hoping they can pin us real deep and maybe get a defensive score or just an easy field position swing here.
Well, that was the best offensive drive of the day so far for the Bobcats.
Kind of a duck punt, though.
And that one's going to be out of bounds, about the 20, right in there, unless referee saw something I didn't.
Johnson's punt out of bounds at the Titan 18-yard line where they'll take
18,
over
and the extremely partial fans of the Titans don't agree. Always willing to help out the referees. That's kind of the good thing about being up here and having the cones on, the earphones. You don't hear a lot of it unless it gets really bad.
Yeah, it was I won't say oblivious, but there's a lot of years when you're on the sidelines in the chaos, you don't kind of realize that. And the last couple of years in the box was very enlightening, Shad.
Yes, I'm sure. There's Korleski trying to bounce to the outside, getting nowhere. Might have gained a half a yard. There was a game at the Pentagon. I knew the referee is basketball, obviously, and I reached out to him after the game, and I just told him, man, I am so sorry you had to deal with those fans. I won't say what school. It's Class A. You can probably basketball. You can probably guess from there, basketball fans, but because it was bad. He told me he didn't hear it at all, any of it. He was just too much into the game, and that's one thing I've learned about referees is they love being out here probably as much as the players. They just, it's Jason Reisdorfer. You see him in the white hat in the backfield and his crew. Handoff left side. That's Brown. He's going to get taken down immediately. Mainly that's because on the ground was number 36, Steven Anowski.
Number 36,
Well, from an officiating standpoint, I mean, is there any less thankless job out there? I can't imagine they're doing it for the pay, right?
Oh.
They know how much we need them to keep our sports alive, and
they love it. You know, football here, they have their own crew, and so they travel around, and I might ask them, where are you guys going this week? And I'm blessed to know a lot of officials because it's fun to look at it from their side of it. Somebody might look at me and say, why does he like to announce football games so much? But it takes oh boy,
way to step up and get up there.
Grant is going to scramble around, pick up a first down. Be about a 15-yard carry.
It's a nice job of just feeling the pocket collapse and just getting downhill.
Absolutely. Tackle by Eidsness for the Bobcats. And now Grant on the ground, I believe, getting close to 50 yards, 45 yards on the ground for the quarterback, 60 yards through the air, a touchdown pass. Titans under 3 minutes to go, still at that same score at halftime, 20-0. We've seen Coach Fry kind of slow it down when he has these big leads in the second half, and he's not trying to put up a 50-burger on anybody. He just wants to get the win. This would move him to 5-1. Titans were 5-5, I believe, last year.
Brought down by Steven Anowski.
Brown tackled by Anowski, gains 3, brings up 2nd and 7. As we're under 2.5 minutes. 2nd and 6. As I see Mr. Preheim walking up the stairs, and I need to do what he's doing. If he's running or walking or lifting weights, he's looking good, slim and trim, eating good.
Yeah, I see him pretty frequently in the weight room in the mornings. I'm coming in to get stuff set up, and
good for him.
Been very dedicated to
assistant principal at T High School. I know Principal Knutson likes to ride his bike when he can. Kind of my neighbor up the street.
Brenner Conrad on the carry.
And probably even when he shouldn't. I bet he rides probably 10 below.
He's only about 7/10 of a mile from school. I'm 9/10 of a mile, so I'm close. 3rd and 2, a little bit better carry from Brown than I thought. It's to me, it's going to be fake up the middle, option to the left here. That's my call, Coach.
Yeah, 3rd and short. I haven't seen him do many pre-snap games as far as a hard count or anything like that. I'd like to see him just try to, get Brookings to jump and really just keep them honest, because I think they're going to start peeling their ears back and bringing stuff like
I said, Grant, top of the key, or top of the screen, runs right. Picks up another first down, his 2nd in a row, 3rd down conversion. Right to midfield, Anowski heating up for the Bobcats, makes the stop. We are slowly down to 1 minute in the 3rd quarter. Titans 20-0. How'd they get that way? 2 short-yard plunges by Brenner Conrad, 1-yard touchdown runs, and then a 38-yard beautiful throw. Probably the best catch we've seen this year by Griffin Wiebinga. It's Wiebinga, it's not Wabinga, okay? If you're calling his game next, Wiebinga, not Wabinga, but made a catch in the back. I didn't call it right away because I thought there's no way he was going to come down with it. He did. Titans continue to run between the tackles. Carter Brown, 2-yard carry, brings up 2nd and 8 into Bobcat territory. That might be the last play of the 3rd quarter. And then we will look over the stats as they bring them to us. You see the team walking to the sidelines. 20-0 T-Area Titans. at the end of the third quarter. Check on some scores for you here. Double A. Now the Titans, I thought this was going to be the case everywhere this year. Everybody was supposed to start at 6, and I think T is one of the few schools that actually do it. O'Gorman Pier battling it out at O'Gorman, 27-23. O'Gorman has the lead, a minute left in the fourth. Huron is beating Douglas 13-0 after one. No surprise there. Aberdeen Central flip a coin with that one, 14-6. Spearfish and Watertown scoreless in the second quarter. Yankton, this is a good matchup. It's going to tell you a lot about Sturgis. Yankton leading Sturgis 7-0. So we're doing this off the South Dakota score feed. We're going to do the, thank you. We're going to do the hit the watch button here and see what's going on. That would be a huge win. Pier last year, you looked and you thought, boy, they are down and it's going to be somebody else. It was Watertown, but Pier got hot in the playoffs and made it back to the championship for the 8th straight year. Quarter stats so far tonight: 14 first downs for the Titans, 4 for the Brookings Bobcats. I think that was all 4 of them just on that last drive. 2nd and 8 coming up. Yards, 220 for the Titans, 24 for, that's rushing yards, 24 overall. 280 to 37 is the yardage, and it looks like someone might have moved early. So we'll back it up. 86 yards for Korleski, 6.1 yards per average, 77 for Carter Brown. Carter Brown averaging 7.7 yards per carry. Mitch Grant, 8 carries, 38 yards. 5-yard average there. Conrad, 7 for 19. Grant still 60 yards passing. Weebing still 60 yards through the air. Leading tackler, Hayden Bilas. Probably why you're not seeing him on offense. We're number 28 now. 6 tackles, 37 yards for Bergen Tetzloff. All of those, but about 5 were on that last drive. It might be getting a little too late to do that again. There's a quick to Wiebinga. Nowhere really to go. Gets it back close to the original line of scrimmage. And leading tackler, Bergen Tetzloff, 8 for the Bobcats.
It seems like Brookings is staying pretty balanced. Even with trips to the boundary here, they're keeping their backers where they're at. I'm kind of surprised we're not trying to, just use the numbers to our advantage a little bit and get the ball out in space. I mean, throwing that tunnel screen to the boundary is just not enough space to get it going,
Tetzloff, senior middle linebacker. I've watched every game this year for the Titans when they've had their big league. This is kind of the MO. It's just we're going to run it, take time off the clock, and if they can score, they can score. There is the keeper by Mitch Grant. He's picked up 2 first downs on his own. He gets it into Bobcat territory, but it'll be 4th down.
Especially Lowry. 11 minutes left in the 4th. It is just a race against the clock, especially when Brookings hasn't really moved the ball other than running the clock and running the ball as well.
Right. When they have moved the ball, it also takes a lot of time off the clock. So I'm sure Scott Fry right now wouldn't care if they did that. Here is Dashiell Lowry, the senior. 1 punt in the game, 30 yards so far. This one's probably not going to go that far unless he gets a really good bounce. He doesn't, and it'll just roll dead at about the 34-yard line.
It's a nice job just getting that one off. Got a little pressure.
Yeah, he did. A little surprise. 10:35 to go. Bobcats have been into Titan territory 1 time tonight. And so they don't need many yards. 17 to accomplish that for the 2nd time tonight.
Here's where I'd like to see the defense, not take the foot off the gas pedal and just really stay after Brookings. Just make them earn it.
That's easy for you to say as a guy that's been sitting up in an air-conditioned booth all night.
That's a very good point.
Nowhere to go there up the middle. Stopped at the line of scrimmage by Harris. Nifke again in on the tackle. Loss of 1. I thought he made it back to the line of scrimmage. No dice. O'Gorman did hold on to beat Pier 27-23. So good job by Pier showing up against a very talented O'Gorman team on the road. 4 points short. That's a loss you can build off of for as Pete Roberts would call them, the governators. They're the governors. But that's going nowhere. Looking for Tetzloff, incomplete. Tetzloff had call it 2.5 guys on him.
3rd down and 11.
3rd and long for the Bobcats. Clock stopped at 9:48 to go. Just 7:36. And when I say that we're moving along, something usually happens then. It's one team decides to pass all the time, and then penalties and things like that, cramps. So I'll just keep my mouth closed.
Yeah, you put it out there, they're going to burn all 6 timeouts.
Hey, that's okay. I'm having a good time. We have a great crew up here with Pete Roberts and Matt Johnson and Rick Williamson and Tommy Tosh and Griffin. Oh, in and out of the hands, and he knew it, of number 14, Adam Berglund. Boy, he had the catch and maybe more.
Yeah, that was a fantastic throw, actually, by Hunter there. I mean,
yeah. And so a 9:44 to go, 4th and 11. Korleski back to return. Hilson back to return. Hillstead, I'm sorry. And almost a block there by DeBoer. Fair catch, Korleski at 27-yard line. And the Titans, 1st and 10, will take over there with probably 1 goal. Pick up first downs while the clock is moving.
Titans will take over 1st and 10.
I think on the year, he's just a sophomore. Mitch Grant, I went and watched him in practice. The practice I was at that I'm thinking of, he was thrown into the wind and you wouldn't even know it. And I asked Scott Fry, I said, is he the real deal? And Coach Fry just shook his head and he said, real deal. And I think this is one of his better games, both through the air and on the ground tonight. He's kind of been a threat to do both.
Yeah, it's been fun to see his development, and even some of the things that kind of make you, nice run here by Carter.
Carter Brown still going. About a 19-yard carry for Brown.
Donovan Davis and Jaden Hale.
Even some of the things that make you cringe a little bit from a coaching standpoint from Mitch's play as a sophomore is they come from a good spot. You know, he's maybe missing a guy here because he's keeping his eyes down the field where they should be. And, I mean, his read progression seemed really, really advanced for a 15, 16-year-old kid.
Yeah. And I would say there's not a lot of 15 sophomore quarterbacks, not a lot of 15, 16-year-old sophomore quarterbacks in playing 11 AA football right now. So Coach Fry has to be excited for him. I know they talk highly of this sophomore class. There's Brown again. This time he'll carry it for 4 yards.
So, quick story about Mitch. So
sure.
9 years ago, we're playing at Dakota Valley on our own 1-yard line. Clayburg calls midline. And it's a variation of option. Peyton Conrad takes it 99 yards to the house. So last year against Washington, we're on our own 1 or 2, and Mitch comes in. Said, hey, Mitch, have you ever run midline in a game? He goes, I'm not even sure what to do. It happened to be at the end of the quarter or at a timeout or something. And we're talking through it on the sideline. I'm kind of going, this is a terrible idea. I'm like, I think it's going to work. And then he busts off that 90-yard run and just about breaks it the whole distance.
Well, when that happened, I was doing PA, and I said to the guys, I said, do we really think he's going to make it out of the end zone? This is crazy. I think he would have made it 99-yard and tied Peyton's record had he not ran out of gas at about the 25 because he was looking behind him.
Well, as a poor freshman probably just had the adrenaline crash at about the 40-yard line. And
I saw Peyton's dad a couple days later, and I said, your son's record is still only his, but it was close. I think it was about 93 yards or so. But, yeah, that kind of made me a Mitch Grant believer on that day. That was fun to see. And fun to – oh, look at this. What a great carry. It's right straight up the middle. Is that going to be Korleski or is that Brown again? No, that's Grant on the keeper. Titans are going to have 3 guys dangerously close to 100 yards. And then the runner that doesn't get 100 yards is probably going to be the unsung hero of the night, guy paving holes, Brenner Conrad, and he's got 2 touchdowns. Clock ticking.
Yeah, the last couple series haven't seen Brenner out there much. I wonder if they're just trying to keep him rested and make sure that he just ends the night healthy here.
I would say that gets my stamp of approval. Let's go on another week and let him have some more practices. And Belas, all right. the new Chase Van Tall there. He gets his carry, a little hesitation, then turns on the gas. Gets about 4. This was a defensive end up until this last week. And I asked the coaches, is he getting carries in practice? And they said, oh, yeah. And he does. Van Tall kind of had that longer frame for not a tall kid. Belas is kind of like that, too. I was watching him.
Yeah, just a tough physical kid. I caught him in the hallway this week, and he's grinning ear to ear. I said, what? He said, I'm going to play some running back. I said, dude, you're going to run through a brick wall. You have to take care of the football, though. I just see him fighting for every inch because you know that type. He's just a competitive, hard-nosed kid. But.
Okay, I did hear he carries it like a loaf of bread. I'm not going to say who told me that, but a coach told me that. So if he tucks it away, he'll be fine. Do you think these last 2 carries, can I get nitpicky? Is he hitting it a little too fast? Should he wait for his block just a little bit there?
It kind of almost looks like we're either just going duo or dive, where we're just pretty much get downhill like you're shot out of a cannon, and there's not a lot of pulling and setup. We're probably just trying to run it right down their throat and get what we can get at this point.
Okay.
So.
Cole McKinney time. Cole just took the ball and just hit the hole as fast as anybody I've probably ever seen. There was no dancing out of him.
Yeah, for such a small back, Cole, he could pack a punch.
Yeah, absolutely. Back judge has his hand raised. They do that when there's 10 seconds to go, and then he'll count it down so the quarterback can see it. Grant still alive, still going. Oh, my goodness. This is going to be, almost very memorable touchdown by Grant. But better yet, first down, first and goal, 9-yard line. As the clock,
23-yard run.
as our statistician Pete Roberts would say, tick, 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 tick.
That's where the fatigue just really starts to wear on the defense. You can see the pursuit slow down. Everybody kind of stopped in the play, thought he was wrapped up. And
yeah.
Heck of a run by Mitch there.
Great run.
Looks like Dashiell's going to take the snaps now.
Okay, that's good to see. Senior, Dashiell Lowry. You might have heard his mom was the superintendent of T, took the Harrisburg job, a big job, taking over the #2 school district in the state, and Dashiell decided to stay for his senior year. He's named Homecoming Court and didn't win it, but I think just getting named just tells you what kind of kid he is. Hands it off to Korleski.
Korleski on the carry, brought down by Phoenix Sater.
And so 350 yards, 288 on the ground. Korleski has 86 so far as the Titans just want to take this down and leave no doubt. I think there's already a couple nails in the coffin as we tick down close to 16. So if you don't know what a back judge does, we will explain it here. If you do know, just pretend like you don't. So he's counting down, and when it gets to 10, he's going to raise his hand. And a lot of quarterbacks, there it is, 10, and then he would count down, waving his arm, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. So high school teams don't have the technology of the play clock like you see in the NFL, but he acts as that play clock, and a good quarterback will count those arm swings, and that's how the back judge works. The white hat that you see out there, that's Jason Reisdorfer. That's kind of the head of the crew. That's the one that wears the microphone if it's available. We just got ours, I think 2 years ago. We got a sound system with a microphone for the referee. Not a lot of schools do. It is nice to have it so you can hear the call and not just have to rely on knowing the motions. So there's your little breakdown.
Hayden Belas on the carry.
Belas gets the carry there, just tackled right at the line of scrimmage. Titans is Grant is back out there again. You see Nyberg
Gain of 1, 4th and goal from the 5.
down a little bit as he gets back up. So you're leading 20-0. There's not a lot of much doubt left. 4 minutes. Would it be wrong for me to say I just want to work on my field goal in case I need to use that later on in the season, or isn't that go through a coach's head?
If you're not trusting your unit, though, I mean, if it's a live ball if it's blocked, and that's where it could be a huge swing if they happen to block it and run it back. I mean,
okay,
there's plenty of time to practice that at practice. And
okay, that's why I asked you, Coach. And if in the reverse, if the Titans go for it and don't get it, no harm, no foul, because Brookings has to go 95 yards down the field, which
even
they
if
haven't.
we take a knee on it, we're saving 3 or 4 yards over a missed field goal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
That's why you got paid the big bucks, and that's why pretend to be a coach when I played Madden. So there you go. There's your difference.
Well, Shad, I would say it's my 2 cents, but it's probably only worth about a penny. And I don't know if I'd call it big bucks.
No, man, it's great having you up here, and I think the viewers, I appreciate it because it makes my job really easy, and I think the viewers are really going to appreciate hearing from somebody that knows, that has done it for 11 years, and hear your perspective. So
it's been kind of a strange fall for me. I was talking to my mom the other day, and it's the first football season I haven't been part of an organized team in 27 years.
Oh my goodness!
3rd grade flag was the last time. So.
Oh wow! But as we saw tonight, you have the 2 young kids, and I don't think that's time that you'll ever regret spending with them. So they keep you busy, I'm sure. Here's Carter Brown. He's kind of going to go off to the right side, and does he get in? Boy, it's close. And they're going to say just short. I'm sure he would have liked to get in.
By number 10, Tetzloff.
And so Tetzloff on the stop for him. That is tackle number 9 for him. Brookings will take over from about the 2.
Their own 2-yard line.
So Brookings needing to go. Okay. 3:24 left, Brookings. All 3 timeouts left. Titans have 2. Not that it matters. And it will be back to the starting quarterback. Just to run up the middle to try to get some space here for the Bobcats. It's going to be a short gain for them. I'm sorry if I'm being a little choppy here. My headset is going in and out, and I can't hear myself, and it's a little touchy. There we go. No.
Gain of 2, bringing up 2nd down and 8.
Okay.
I think Coach Fry and company have done a good job taking Tetzloff out of the game. I mean, 9 tackles is obviously pretty impressive defensively, but he is all over the field. I mean,
Gain of 2, 2nd and 8.
1 catch on the night and a handful of carries.
And
he's a difference maker.
A little fake there. And then the handoff.
Armenta on the carry.
By Huntemer. Can bring up 3rd down.
Hayden Bilas.
There's Bilas in there making the tackle tonight. His 6th tackle to go along with 3 or 4 carries. So he's going to sleep well tonight.
Gain of 5 on the play, bringing up 3rd and 3.
Gain of 5, 3rd and 3 for a Bobcats. It brought a student section. They brought a nice little crowd with them here traveling on the roads. Only about an hour tops. And there's Tetzloff again just on the carry. They look like they're just fine. We tick down close to 2 minutes. And the clock is stopped. Now it's running.
Gain of 6,
there we go.
For the Bobcats.
It's okay.
I think that was maybe.
I did it when I caught my foot on the cord of the headset, so it's my own fault if I can't hear it. But we'll just finish out the game this way. 1:50 to go. We've seen this before. 20-0 at halftime. 20-0 to end the game here. Is that Huntemer back in the game? It is. He gets pressured. He rolls out to his right. He's got the sideline to go. Hillman just runs him out of bounds. Carter Brown, 2.
On the carry.
Hillstead. I'm going to say that 20 times before I go to bed tonight. Hillstead. I think it's because we have a Hillman in soccer, and that's what goofed me up. We've been soccer heavy this week. We did 2 games, or actually 4 games this week. Best of luck to the band tomorrow. They march in the Festival of Bands in Sioux Falls. That's a lot of fun. Soccer, the boys, they will be traveling to Sturgis for the first round. And that went in and out of the hands of number 19
incomplete, intended for Kingston
for
Schneider. 2nd down and 10.
Kingston Schneider, 2nd and 10. Volleyball fell at Washington last night, 3-0. As we tick down under 90 seconds to go, the clock is stopped. Oh, that's because it's an incomplete pass. Okay. The Titan coaches are gone. Brew and look out, there he is, and it's a fumble, and almost picked up by the Titans. Kingston Nyberg was thinking end zone. I think Brookings ended up falling on it. They did. Kingston Nyberg, the way I looked at it, went to pick it up, but his foot hit it before he could grab it.
That's the old scoop and score drill. You got to get really wide, almost like you're riding a horse as you're coming in to scoop it, so you don't accidentally kick it there. But clock keeps running. I don't think that's a bad situation either way here.
Yeah. Carson Lord fell on it. That's your old wrestler, I think. There's a nice pitch and catch to number 19, Kingston Schneider. Brookings now going no huddle on 4th and 11, 43-42, clock running. That was a 12-yard pass and catch, the longest one of the night for them. This is Hunter again. Pumps. He's going to get tackled by Seek Llewell in the night for the Titans. Chase DeBoer as well. And I think Cody Peterson. It was me at the quarterback. Titans will take a knee, head to 5-1. Brookings will fall to 3-3. The Titans get the shutout. It's going to make Coach Fry happy. And the Titans next week, next Friday, are on the road. Rematch the defending 11AA champs, Watertown Arrows. As for Brookings, they are going to Crane Youngworth Field to play Yankton. Titans clapping it up. That's going to be official. We'll get the stats here, John Neeson, and we'll run over them real quick as we're waiting for that. Thoughts on tonight on both sides of the ball?
Just a great team win tonight. I mean, I think encouraging to get back to the Titan style of football. I think coming in tonight, there's maybe some uncertainty with where we were at as a team this season, and it's a big statement win for these guys. A great job on all 3 phases of the game. Complimentary football.
Yeah, we only had to see Dashiell Lowry punt it twice. He did line up at wide receiver, punted it twice, but it was everyone in the backfield. If it wasn't Korleski, it was Brown, or it was Grant. Grant throwed it through the air, had one of his better nights. Griff Wiebinga, 3 big catches. Defensive side of the ball, the line, like we've seen when they're at full strength, was very dominant. And so the Titans, 7:53, they ended that one in under 2 hours, 20-0. Does the scoreboard say Finn? Is that Finnish, or is that okay? I kind of like it. It's another language. Titans, as you see Carter Christensen there, their starting corner that they lost about 5 minutes into the game this year, and he will not be back. He's a senior, a 6'2 senior, so a big loss there for the Titans. But Titans started fast, never really stalled. When you only punt it 2 times a night, good things are going to happen. Final stats, and then we'll get out of here. We'll let you catch whatever game you're going to go see next. Total offense tonight, 356 for the Titans, 59 for the Bobcats. A lot of that 59 was just in the second half when it was kind of meaningless. Rushing yards, 294. First downs, Titans 17, Brookings Bobcats 6. 3 penalties called all night. Love to see that. No turnovers, which we told you the Bobcats had turned it over 9 times in the previous 2 games. Didn't get it done, or didn't turn it over tonight. Neither did the Titans. Tetzloff, their leading rusher, 7 attempts, 43 carries. Gus Arminta, 7 carries, 15 yards. 2 of 11 was Jones Hunter for 25 yards. Their leading tackler. Pretty dominant effort. 13 tackles by Bergen Tetzloff, 9 by Phoenix Sather, 7 by Steven Anowski, and 6 by Blake Kennegeiter. Why did they have so many tackles? Well, the Titans had the ball 31 minutes, where Brookings had it under 17 minutes. 100 yards on the ground, Carter Brown on 13 carries. That's 7.9 average. 88 for Cade Korleski, 5.9 average, and 77 for Mitch Grant. So, and then you throw in Brenner Conrad, the short yardage guy, had 2 touchdowns. Grant, 3 of 7 through the air. Alder Griffin Weavinger, 62 yards, 1 touchdown. And the leading tacklers for the Titans. It could be any of number of guys any given night. Tonight, Hayden Belos, 9 tackles, 1.5 sack. Chase DeBoer, 4 tackles, 2 sacks. Thake Llewell, 4 tackles. He had a sack. And Braden Nifke, 3 tackles, 1 sack. Well, good job, John Neeson, in your debut. Loved having you up here. You have any final words?
No, just a great job by the guys in front. You can average almost 6 yards a carry as a team despite just trying to run out the clock for the majority of the second half. It's just a huge job by the offensive line.
Titans move to 5-1. Brookings falls to 3-3. Titans in action again next Friday on the road. We will be watching that, and then we will join you for the final regular season games. Titan look like they might host a playoff game this year, so we'll bring you all the live games here. So for our producer, Andrew Griffin, my color man, John Neeson, who did such a fine job, I am Shad Hockey, Titan Nation, and our Brookings fans. Bye for now.